let's see. So the live tells, we got the posture, we got the breath work, the sleep. How important is all that stuff to you? How much do you personally value it, and what kind of difference do you think all that makes to your game? Oh, and do you perhaps also the gym and things like that?
So yeah, the soft skills I think are quite important, especially when you get to the highest levels. I'm pretty much always looking for any avenue to improve as a player, as a person. I really enjoy the process of working on my weaknesses, trying to optimize everything. So yeah, I pay a lot of attention to things like sleep, diet, all of that stuff. I wear a whoop. I see you have one too.
Oh, yeah, I do. Whoop. Yeah,
So yeah, I pay a lot of attention to the things outside of poker. I wish that I had realized sooner how big of an impact physical exercise has on my mental health and performance. It's a huge one for me, definitely. It's difficult, I find, during like these intense poker stops when you're playing so many hours and just really trying to prioritize sleep to also get the exercise in. But I have worked on that more in recent years, and I've definitely seen a benefit.
have you seen a benefit in terms of what kind of benefit are we talking, and what kind of? I want to ask. Okay, what kind of benefit? What kind of exercises do you find the most useful? And also, are you able to see the results in some kind of like clear format of like do you see like what kind of difference it makes via the whoop, or how are you able to track the difference if at all?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely with the whoop, like the heart rate variability stuff, like increasing that over time, which I think is considered to be one of the most useful metrics for indications of physical health.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I see definitely increases in heart rate variability, just better focus and kind of mental resilience, I guess, like ability to deal with stress, stuff like that. Mostly, I don't really enjoy just like going to the gym, doing cardio. Like I don't mind lifting, but I much prefer doing activities. I guess my I'm most passionate about rock climbing. I actually own a couple of gyms in France, rock climbing gyms, and I
Oh,
really
really?
enjoy that as both quite a social activity. It's obviously very physical. You use your whole body, you use your mind too to kind of plan your way up routes and stuff. Yeah, I really enjoy climbing. I've gotten into tennis lately, which has been had a big impact on my cardio. I guess those are the main ones. And then like when I'm in Vegas, I have like a trainer and because I have a gym in my place and I lift when I'm in Vegas, but not as consistent with lifting when I'm on the road.
Well, lifting's pretty boring to be fair. At least I think so. Yeah, the other things you mentioned sound like a lot more fun. I personally probably should try, especially rock climbing. I think tennis is a little tricky just because you need a partner to do tennis, so
Mm.
it's like a bit harder to coordinate, which is extra bandwidth. I was actually you answered like a different question, which is like, what are your hobbies? I had no idea you had a couple rock climbing gyms. That's pretty cool.
Mm.
Who knew? Only Steven secrets. And My question was actually more along the lines of, let's say you're doing exercise X amount times a week. How does that translate to an edge in poker? Like, are there any kind of metrics to say? Does this mean you have like your focus is like 10% better? Or I don't even know how it would be assessed. I know like some rough metrics for how sleep affects things. For breathwork, I don't really know, but I would think I'm just trying to like bridge the gap between what are these things that are done and how what are like the tangible effects in terms of
Hmm.
like, do you know what I mean? In terms of put some numbers behind it, basically. Do you have any
Hmm.
idea of those, or it just kind of felt like a major difference?
Yeah, it's tough to really kind of track focus. I do like have a kind of poker journal type thing where I kind of score myself on a few different metrics, and I do that every break. I'll give myself like a how did I perform, how was my focus, stuff like that, and I'll write that down and see how it's impacted by like level of the day, like how long I've been playing, sleep stuff, and anything else. I don't think I could put specific numbers like, oh, exercising twice a week makes me 15% more focused. Like, I don't know how I would come to those numbers.
Well, I don't know how to measure in terms of focus, but you could measure like energy output maybe, or like something like that, because that translates into focus. Because if you could somehow measure how much energy you have in a day, which for sure is affected by how much you work out, this would translate into a difference in focus. But I just don't know what
Um,
that might look like.
yeah, I think for me it's more of a subjective thing. Like I know that I feel happier. I feel less affected by things like losing hands. Feel like I play better. I guess if you wanted to get into talking about the Neuropeak stuff,
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to
the
that.
the breathing belt has some um, metrics that kind of track some of this stuff in a pretty interesting way. But yeah, if you want to start talking about that now.
Oh yeah, we can go to that. I want to mention that for me, the biggest thing that I've definitely noticed is difference in sleep. Nothing really affected my game nearly as much as difference in sleep. There's a couple of more things that have to do with me personally about how I'm different
Hmm.
from other people. The way my mind works is a bit different in that, but also it's a bit different. But that I think that I use less mental energy than other people once I'm used to something. But also, I found that playing like tons and tons of games as like trained my mind to be really resilient in playing with games. So that's like, you said you're a games player, and it's one thing that people can actually do to change a bit to get more exercise of sorts, mental exercise, and have more resilience to the tables is like basically play more and like put yourself in that mental duress of sorts, like literally mental workouts. But the sleep, statistically, there's a book called Why We Sleep. It's a very important book. Um,
I've heard about the book. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's also for the audience. So that talks about all the different like how things are affected or what affects sleep and how important it is and all these kinds of things. And it will even say like you can have a difference functionally of like even like 25% just not even notice because your sleep sucks. And you won't notice as part of the thing. I will say I've noticed massive differences on that specifically, where it's obvious. I mean, like wild, careless mistakes.
If you happen to play some live poker, you got to know what the rake is. You got to know what realistic win rates are. You got to know this kind of stuff. Speaking of which, on the Jungleverse, we provide many resources to help many of you up and coming players in order to avoid many pitfalls that many people play. Also, to avoid getting cheating, we provide some details of what to look out for. We have a map of what the best online sites are to play at and why, and what kind of games you're looking for. If you want to try your luck and try to strike it rich playing tournaments, why not? The math's a bit against you. We have the resources for that too.